Afternoon, folks. Welcome to another cider review. Today we're having a look at the Zeffer Cider Red Apple Cider. It's their sweeter product. A little bit about Zeffer. They only make ciders and they don't make fruit ciders, which is probably pretty unusual because most of the companies out there, that's what they're doing. They're following the Recordeling model and putting in lime and chili and all sorts of berry fruits. Almost any sort of fruit flavour seems to be the flavour of the month, or at least the last couple of years. These guys started in 2019 with about 3,000 litres of output, selling at the farmers market in Matakana. They then built their own cidery in Silverdale, Auckland Way, 2012, and they're now, I think they've now finished building a new cidery in Hawke's Bay, which is obviously a lot nearer where most of the apples are produced. They say that they're the biggest independent cider producer in New Zealand. There's probably a few people who might claim that. Depends on your definition of independent. And as you can probably tell, I have already had one of these. And I must admit that Zeffer is probably one of my favourite cider brands that are available in the mainstream. So that's from most of the supermarkets and the local bottle stores. So what's in this one? Obviously apples. It's freshly crushed, and it started out as being an apple variety called Mahana, which is a red apple unique to New Zealand. Now I gather it's a mix of red apples, probably because they've increased the size of the production. Yeast, water and sulfites. So that's it. No flavourings. Having a look at the Zeffer website, it's pretty good if a bit hipsterish. There's lots of pictures sliding up and down, but there's info on each cider, the awards that they've won, and they have won a lot of different awards at quite a wide range of cider competitions. And they've also raised money via Snowball Effect, which is a crowdfunding platform. And so there's quite a bit more information on the finances and what the company's trying to achieve compared to almost every other site. The only thing that I found lacking was there's no nutritional breakdown, so trying to figure out things like the residual sugar to find out how sweet they actually are is extremely difficult. I did actually give these guys a ring to ask a couple of questions. Good response, provided honest answers, didn't get the usual corporate rubbish, which a lot of the time you phone someone up and they say, well, we're not required to tell you that, and so we're not going to. I got one of the founders, and it was a good interaction. So let's open this up and see what we get. You'd expect, being from red apples, that there'd be a slightly darker or red tinge to it, and indeed it is really a bit like a pink champagne or a rosé wine. Usual story, not a huge head, but you don't expect that on a cider. They say you should get a pale blush colour, smells of red toffee apples, tastes like biting into a fresh crunchy red apple. They give it 2 out of 5 for dryness, so that's at the sweeter end, and 3 out of 5 for tannin, so it's somewhere around the middle, slightly more tannic than, for instance, their 2.5% one, I think. And it certainly is quite distinctive on the nose, and there's quite a good aroma. Lots of ciders are really quite flat. You really don't get much except a faint apple flavour. But I'm not sure if this is toffee apple, but it's certainly distinctive and pleasant. And I guess that there is a certain amount of tannin which you pick up on the nose. The first swig, it's actually not as impressive as the smell might lead you to believe. It's sweet and quite light, and I guess it probably is a little bit like you'd expect red apple juice which has been fermented to taste like. It's a fairly simple cider, I'd have to say. There's not a lot going on. Red apples, fermented, put in a bottle, there you go. It's not as bland as some of the mainstream ciders. There is more flavour there, and I think that's probably because of perhaps the freshly crushed nature of it. They probably get a little bit more flavour from the skins. So yeah, I'd sum it up and say that the bronze medal that it got at the 2018 New Zealand, the New World, sorry, not the New Zealand, so many awards ceremonies these days you get muddled up. The New World Beer and Cider Awards picked up a bronze medal. Last year didn't pick up a medal at all. I'd say that a bronze medal's probably a pretty fair reflection. I'd be quite happy to drink that. These come, I think I didn't actually say, these come, you can get them in 6-packs, but they also come in a mixed 4-pack for around $14 in these 330ml bottles. And it's an excellent way of trying 4 different ciders for about $14. Varies a little bit, they come on special at supermarkets. But excellent way of trying 4 different ciders for really, around $3 and change a bottle. So yeah, in summary, probably not my favourite Zeffer cider. I'd give it maybe 14 out of 20. And if you like a slightly sweeter cider and you're keen on cider as opposed to all of these flavoured ciders with your berry fruits and orange blossom and all the rest, then this might be right up your alley. But give it a go. Hope you're enjoying what you're drinking, and I'll catch you again. Cheers.